What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We got a lot to talk about today because prices are dipping. Now, the title and the thumbnail have the word crash in it. And I want to go ahead before we move too far into the show and let you guys know what we are witnessing right now is not a crash. It is not. However, there is growing bearish sentiment within the crypto space. And when we should have seen a rally and a pump yesterday, we didn't. And we warned you guys yesterday afternoon. We actually called a lot of the levels that prices fell to this morning. Did not think it would happen this soon. But we did warn you yesterday that negative prices could be coming. And now we're starting to look at the potential. Is this the crash that comes before the halving that we have seen happen historically? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the video. But I want to make sure you guys feel comfortable and ready. Guys, crypto is not in a bear market. It is in a bull market. And even if there is a 50, 60% pullback on some of your favorite coins, it's still a bull market. And we are still going to see higher highs coming very, very soon. If that excites you, smash the like button right there. And also smash the like button if you love getting to spend time with me and my co-host T-Shroom down in Gainesville, Florida. T-Shroom, how you feeling today?
Oh, well, Tim, I'm feeling better than deserve. I'm feeling better than I deserve, and that a lot of other people deserve the way I feel. You know who said that better was someone who actually bears the same initials as I, TS, to be Taylor Swift. When she said, "My ultimate goal is to end up being happy most of the time." Now, Taylor Swift said it, not me. But Tim, what do you think about this one here?
Yeah, listen, man, you got to watch out for this happiness. I don't want to chase being happy. I want to chase being fulfilled and being joyful. And there is a difference. A lot of times, a lot of the problems with the world right now, T-Shroom, come from people chasing happiness rather than fulfillment, because happiness comes and goes. Yeah. Fulfillment and joy is a mindset that actually keeps you grounded long term. I'm not the biggest T-Shroom. You're not the biggest. I almost said T-Shroom. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I am the biggest T-Shroom fan. I just want to make sure people know that. But your initial sharing partner, Taylor Swift. My wife, you could take her or leave her. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just leave it. I'll leave her. I don't know if I'll go do any taking.
The thing about Taylor Swift is that I think she's the #1 living celebrity right now. Like, she has the most social media influence. Her tours sell out the most. And, you'd have to imagine that she's probably seeing moments of happiness more often than the average person. What do you think? Do you think that she's happier than most people, or do you think that she's kind of putting on a front? Thank you for tuning in to the Investing Bros, where we do intense crypto analysis.
You're asking if celebrities mask their real feelings on things, and if they pretend to be something that they're not? I wonder.
Maybe this is the real Taylor right here.
Maybe that's the real. It's the all along. All right, let's get away from Taylor Swift. Thank you, Taylor Swift, for the quote of the day that I disagree with, and we're gonna move on and check out the markets here. Let's go ahead and get on into the coin market cap open. Now, again, we told you guys yesterday, dips were coming. Did not think they'd happen this fast. Bitcoin did not quite get down to the level we talked about. We'll discuss that more in the TA section, but it is down 4.2% today. Ethereum down 4.8 as well. BNB only down 3. Solana was down a lot more. We'll talk about Solana more, because that was one that we did call almost exactly what would happen yesterday with Solana, but it's bouncing back here as we're talking, only down 2% on the day. Same with XRP, only 2.2. Cardano down 4. Avalanche, down 7, your biggest loser of the top 10. That's all right, though. Again, still big believers in AVAX long term. Sometimes when the price goes up, price has got to come down. That's a saying. That's a quote of the day right there, T-Shroom. What goes up must come down at some point in some way or another.
Well, it's true, Tim.
It is what's true.
That what goes up must come down.
Must come down, at least if we're applying the laws of gravity. We'll look at our biggest gainers, biggest losers of the day. What happened? Did it just have a colossal crash? I see ENA's #1. It's #1 bubble behind me as well. But when I was checking here just a couple of minutes ago, we still had which one was it? It's the one from yesterday, or Is that our biggest loser? No, it was not even the biggest loser. Oh, well, we had a different coin in here. Same as yesterday. What was it called? What was the one we were talking about yesterday, T-Shroom? It's going to bug me now until we
Core?
get it. Core. What was I saying? Core. Core was up here and now just disappeared. Did it get kicked out of the top 100 or something? I don't know. There it is. Okay, it's coming in down 3 point. There must have been a glitch on my computer because it was still coming in at number 1 in the top movers. But anyway, it is not. It's Athena. Athena is your top mover, up 26% today. Now, it's number 80, and I'm going to go ahead and just go out here on a limb and say yesterday it was probably not in the top 100 whatsoever because everything else, I mean, you go to coin number 2 here, 10%, 8% for Litecoin. Look at that. Litecoin up 8%.
Wow.
But as a whole, a lot of these are higher ranked coins. I bet you Athena is quickly into the top 100. Let's see if it stays. This is a coin we're going to have to take a look at and see, does it make it any further? ICP slightly up. Slightly, again, it's kind of wrestling with that former resistance zone, turning it into support. Let's take a look at our biggest losers. Kava coming in number 1, 11%. Aptos, Alexar, sure, okay, sweet. Number 90 right there. Bonk and Floki and Dogecoin and Sats. We got a lot of meme coins coming in here that are big losers on the day. Again, that is one of the signs that potentially bigger pullbacks could be coming when you're seeing consecutive days where the meme coins are some of the biggest losers here as a whole. T-Shirt, before we do the charts here, let's go ahead and see. I'm probably not going to read that comment because it looks like you are spamming. So please, guys, if you guys want to engage us in chat, do so. Please do so. We love seeing your guys' questions, your thoughts, but do not spam chat. Could we, Crux or Eric Wallen or Bedridden, any of our mods, can we let Friday Kicks take a small time out? Let him think about his actions. Let him think about his usage of the copy and paste buttons, and then come back in 5 minutes and try again. Try again here in just a little bit. T-Shroom, anything in chat you're seeing that you want to address before we get into our charts?
Anything in chat? Well, yeah, let me take a little bit of a scan here. It said Mirage is a rug pull, said Eric Wallen, so be careful with Mirage. I can either Marriage. Yeah, I don't know if it is or not, but Eric Wallen, a trusted source, certainly a bro. So I would steer clear of that one until you're absolutely sure that it's gonna be good. Let's see. Oh yeah. Username said only dropped to 79 greed, I see. Yeah, so the fear and greed, at least on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah.
If you still have pulled up, Tim, you can see the fear and greed there, yeah.
Yeah, 79, but it didn't get the full weight. So let's we're going to talk about charts here in a second. This is not going to be the fullest of the charts. But the fear and greed index comes out usually 7 or 8 p.m. I think with the recent time change, it moved back to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. last night. Let's go to the hourly chart. What was 8 p.m. last night? Yeah, so this big move came after they printed the fear and greed index. So unless we see a big push back up, maybe back up to 68 or so, we're going to talk about levels here in a little bit. Not going to be surprised. Oh, look at that. MetaMask, not sponsored by them. 79 on the Bitcoin fear and greed index should go lower. Again, when this was printed last night, the price of Bitcoin was still sitting up here at 69,500. That's why we're still seeing it that high. I do expect it to drop after today's initial pullback here. Yeah, second. Yeah. So I think I'm right. Yeah, we didn't have that pullback. The big move is at 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock last night is when we had the big drop. We already had that print. But let's get into the charts here, guys. Today, the charts are brought to you guys by Blofin. Why? Because when there are dips in the action on the charts, there's great opportunities to trade and to buy the dips. And of course, one of our partners here is Blofin. Go check them out. Now, I'm losing at the moment, but I am in a Cardano trade to, I'll talk about those levels just a little bit. But if you want to trade with me and you guys want to be a part of it, you can join our membership, see my trades, get my feedback as well. But also, you guys can go ahead and get Blofin and use our account today. It helps the bros out and also helps you out with buying some of these dips and learning more and more about the trading. Let's get into Bitcoin here first. Now, we're talking about the hourly chart, and we told you guys yesterday, look for a potential move on the 4-hour chart. We talked about maybe coming down here as low as $64,000. Now, where did we actually wick to? We didn't get to 64 itself, but we did get down here on Coinbase, we did wick down on the 4-hour chart to 64,500. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say, T-Shroom, I say this a lot. I think that's good enough for government work. I think that that's good enough for government work. Not saying that Bitcoin is definitely done falling, but we did come down here into the 4-hour chart. We touched this order block. We're definitely within the take profit of Lux Algo short entry suggestion. It is a suggestion, but you can see it's done pretty well here recently. We hit the green take profit. We touched that little what is this smart trail concept. So a lot of support there. You come over here and you take a look at high block as well. That is Solana. We're gonna have to take a look at that here in just a couple of minutes. Let's refresh here. Thank you for all the notifications. Thank you there. Boom. Let's go to our liquidations. Now remember, I told you guys yesterday there was this fat amount that kind of cooled off down to 65K, give or take. Then there was a little bit of a break. And then the question is, do we go even further and potentially come down here closer to 64, 63 range? Do we come in here towards 62.5? There's a lot of stuff that could happen in there. But theoretically speaking, now that we've made this downward move, is there liquidity below us? Absolutely. I wish that when I did this, it wouldn't give me that. Anyway, look at where the brightest liquidations are, though. Up here towards 72.5, potentially even new highs for Bitcoin. So you got to keep your eyes on that. Short action, though. Again, if you guys were in the trade group, you would have heard me talking about this earlier today over in Discord. I talked about the bounce backs that were going to come. I entered that long on Cardano, little early. I had a little bit of bounce fall back down, but I still see it climbing back up. You can see Bitcoin here. If you kind of scroll down the hourly chart, give or take, found itself nice support. You pull up the oscillators, take a look what we have going on here on the hourly chart. We have our bullish trifecta for a long scalp on the hourly. Had to wait a little bit for the green reversal, but we had the bullish momentum. Our money flows positive back above that bearish threshold, and we had that green reversal. So the hourly chart definitely looking bullish for Bitcoin. The level I'm kind of watching on the hourly chart is if the 4-hour doesn't turn bullish, and I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a second using Lux Algo. But if the 4-hour does not turn bullish, more than likely we can find rejection somewhere here between 66.8 and maybe as high as 67,400. Why? That's the smart shell concept, a great place to bounce back up. If the 4-hour chart continues its momentum of going bullish, so we see the MACD starting to slow down. We see that for a while, we're probably close to 90% oversold here on the 4-hour chart. And then you pull up here and look at the Lux Algo indicators. It's slowly curving. Our oscillator's curving. We got our green reversal dot. And you can see the money flow. Is it still red? Absolutely. Is it still below that bearish threshold? Absolutely. But it's slowly curving slightly. If that flips and goes bullish, then I'm going to keep on holding on to that long position if I enter one on Bitcoin and potentially ride that bad boy back up. At least back up here to 69,000, which was former kind of support levels for a lot of this movement up here. If not, maybe kind of wing it and say, could we get a move back up like what High Block is saying and get back up here to 70,000, maybe push towards 72,000. That's what you're kind of seeing on Bitcoin. What I'm going to say at this point, though, is until I see the 4-hour chart get more bullish, again, I need to see a lot more oscillators doing a lot more explosively. I think there's a decent chance this is a little bit of a small bounce back. When I come out here and I look at the daily chart, again, still seeing a lot of negativity here below us. We've changed for the first time since back here in earlier February. The daily chart is once again under a bear trend. It did come back up, turned this smart show concept into resistance. We have take profit levels as low as 61.8 and even down further towards 57. You come back over here, and again, this chart, the 7-day, may be looking like, there is a chance we pull back a little bit lower, but as a whole, there's heavier liquidations up top. You come out here and take a bigger bird's eye view of the whole thing, and you still see a lot. The brightest spot on the map is not above us. It is below us, pushing back down towards 60, and another bright spot down here, even below 55K. Do we have to go that low? We don't have to necessarily. However, and again, I'm not trying to predict that this will happen, but I just want you guys mentally prepared. Look here on the daily chart. Look at down below us where the green support band is. A support band, by the way, that we have not touched since back in August of 2023. Right? At some point, we're probably going to touch this green support band. That band is coming in here where? By the time we get to it, probably right there on 48K, a level we've discussed in the past, former resistance level, never turned into support. To me, 48K is our borderline worst case scenario kind of at this point. You have a healthy, what would that be? A 30-something% pullback in Bitcoin price. If you see the altcoins pull back 50, 60%, that's part of why. A 35%, give or take, for a pullback down to 48K for Bitcoin. Definitely in the cards. What we need to see, though, is how in the next couple of days we perform. Is there anything bullish? We need to see, does the volume and the demand for the ETS pick back up? Because it did look like that has been waning here more recently. It does look like, well, we thought heavy demand would fly in on Monday based off a lot of bullish metrics. Potentially, it's not there. And this is that pre-halving cool-off that we've discussed before. Now, you might be saying, Tim, what do you mean we've discussed this before? I don't know what you're talking about. We just started watching the channel a week ago. If you did, so glad you're here. Let me bring you back to the history of a fractal pattern that happened way back in 2016 that there's an outside chance we are repeating, right? Let's go back here to, boom, right here, 2016. I moved this out of the way because it was annoying. We had a halving event that happened July 19th, 2016, but take a look at what price action looked like during this ascension into the bull market. I want to point out to you guys, after hitting our low in August of 2015, we kept going to the upside, but we had several pullbacks along the way. Always setting higher highs and higher lows, but pullbacks nonetheless. And in this case, we ended up seeing Bitcoin just weeks before the halving event top out temporarily, only to see a 40% pullback. But what happened was we had a 20% pullback a couple of weeks before the halving, traded downward/sideways through the halving event, and then only a week and a half later, we ended up having that big 20% correction, making the entire dip 40%. And then we went off on our merry way into the bull market. So remember, bear market, big bottom here in August 15. We start to rally, have a couple of pullbacks, but ultimately we rally into the bull market, just have a nice 40% pullback in and around the halving event. Could we see something similar happen where, again, bear market, we trade all throughout here. It wasn't the August month, but we finally start to rise. We have several 20% pullbacks. Then we hit a new high for the year, and in this case, also all time. Weeks before the halving, we had a nice little 15% pullback to bounce back up, and now we're kind of going downwards again, but ultimately sideways into the halving. Could we see a similar situation develop? I told you guys, shorter time frames say bullish. What if we just do this? And then we have our nice pullback to 48K, and now it's off to the races in the normal bull market. That's potentially what I think could happen if we continue to do what history has said we could do. And I want you guys to know, before anyone gets saying Tim's a bear, Tim's a bear, Tim's a bear, check that price action out again. Just take a look at my chart. Let's just say this plays out like this, and we come down and we hit this level, and then we bounce to the upside. Zoom out. Zoom out. Does that look like a bearish chart of price action to you, T-Shroom?
It looks like a higher low to me.
It looks like a higher low. It looks like something that healthy bull markets do. And if we want to see massive prices, sometimes you got to have some decent little corrections along the way. That's what Bitcoin would look like. Now let's take a look at another coin that we talked about yesterday that, again, did it hit the exact lowest we said it possibly could? Not necessarily. However, remember yesterday, and I think there were some people in chat trying to say, Tim, you're just too bearish on Solana. You need to sit here with reality. I'm sitting here telling you guys yesterday, guys, look for a pullback. I looked at the liquidations charts. I pulled up all of our Lux ALGO indicators. I said, guys, we're going to drop below 180 here this week, potentially make a move all the way down to 173. Down here to where we have an order block. We have green support. Of course, it's the major take profit. What we ended up doing is just kind of bouncing here. We got to about 176, but we definitely crashed at that 180. Now, we're making a little bit of a bounce back here. Love to see it. At the moment, even here on the 4-hour chart, keep an eye on a potential meeting point back with the smart show concept, maybe even back up to this yellow line, which was support for a while, but we'll turn it into resistance once again, and we come back up into the 195 area. Let's even see what the order blocks are saying here for Solana. Let's go take a look here. I might probably want to look at the 7-day before I look at the 1 month.
Take a look at that 7-day, Tim. You're gonna like the way that 7-day looks.
I think I'm gonna take a look at the 7-day. There we go, guys. Look at the 7-day. Just like I told you guys, we cleaned out all of that liquidity below us, and now guess what? Here in the 7-day, not a lot below us. So now it's all about moving back to the upside. Now, are there major liquidations above us? Not necessarily, which is not screaming overly bullishness to me. It just means we had cleared out a lot. The traders got what they wanted. They cleared out millions of dollars of longs, and now it's time to restart the whole cycle. I wouldn't be surprised to see, went the wrong thing. Would not be surprised whatsoever to see a bounce back up somewhere in the 195 area. Let's kind of see. Yeah, look at this. The 12 hour, after coming down here, we have now cleaned out a lot of the hefty 12-hour liquidations that would have brought us back up here to 185. Where does those things kind of run out in the 12-hour? We could get back above 190. We could get back up here, maybe start pushing towards 195, but then that's it. We've lost all the liquidity. Now you come back out here to the 1 month. Let's take a look what it is saying. Bada boom, took out that 180, but where we still have some hefty liquidity down here pushing towards 160, and technically there's dribbles of it all the way down even below 120. I told you guys, if we start to drop and if we see some form of a crash on Solana, again, I'm talking about if we see Bitcoin drop maybe towards 48K, if we see, Ethereum drop back down towards 2,400, 2,000, give or take, I would not be out of my mind surprised to see Solana pull back here at least to 160. Why? Well, daily chart, that's where our smart trail concept is going to be. But then the other potential option would be let's see, where were we going here? Was a 4-hour chart? Yeah. Nope, not the 4-hour chart. I don't remember which chart we were looking at here. We talked about 130 the other day. I don't remember what we were going at here. 8-hour chart giving us levels down here towards 153.
130 would be the bottom of the reversal band from Lux on that chart.
Yeah, on the daily. Well, it wasn't quite there. Oh well, we had something talking about 130 here. I know we definitely was it potentially just untapped or I don't know.
Maybe that
I don't
high.
remember. I don't remember what I said. We were definitely looking at charts, and I remember thinking 130 was kind of our major pullback prediction there.
We'll go
Let's
up
turn
to
off Lux for a second.
Go to that that local top there that's got the descending wedge back in the 2023, the end of it.
This one?
Yeah, the local top.
Yeah, that's 124.
Yeah, that's not.
Maybe I'm misremembering what I was talking about. I don't know. I remember I thought I was talking about 133. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter at this point. You get my point. We could be pulling back at least 160. I think is kind of one that's like Bitcoin pulling back to 60K-ish, maybe 57K area. We should see 160. I know it's going to have something to do with either fixed range or even potential Fibonacci levels, but I don't remember why. Golden Pocket cuts down 111. This puts us I don't remember. If you guys remember, I'll have to go back and watch my own video. I remember doing the TA with you guys live thinking 130 was a interesting spot for a disaster scenario, and it was going to be something along the lines of like a 50% pullback. I mean, maybe it was that simple. Maybe it was just I was comparing the biggest pullback we've had so far on Solana because we've had it right here. Let's see. This was a 37%. So if we match that sucker, that puts us at 130. That must have been my rationale. 37% pullback would bring us back down to 130 if we repeated the pullback that we've already had this cycle. Yeah, all right, that's got to be it. As a whole, though, we did hit my first pullback target on Solana. And again, all eyes now on Bitcoin to see, does Bitcoin pull back further? If so, those are the levels you're looking at. The support levels, though, 160, potentially even down here towards 152, and then potentially, 140 to 130 is going to be kind of the levels you're keeping an eye on there with Solana. Cardano pulling back majorly. Now, I made a video about this today. A lot of you guys have probably already watched it, but I'll kind of keep you up to date with what I'm looking at with Cardano because this is a tale of something beautiful and something ugly on the charts. The first thing, let's start with beautiful. Look at this support band right in here between 56 to 58 cents. It has been very, very strong support since back in mid-February. You've seen 5 different times now that were bounced off of this area. You love to see it. You're also going to find when you're looking at charts like the 4-hour, and we turn on Lux ALGO and we turn on indicators. Look at the support coming in this area. Green support band, our take profit on the short that was entered here. You come down here to the oscillators. Now, we haven't flashed bullish on the 4-hour chart, but again, look at this. We were massively overextended on the 4-hour. We've had 2 different green triangles, and the money flow's now trading sideways. Even though it's down right now, sideways, momentum seems to be slowing down. Let's see what the 1 hour is saying here. See if the 1 hour is giving us any type of break. 1 hour, not really. It's kind of trading sideways. So you're still looking at Cardano saying, hey, there's signs that a bounce could come. But 4 hour chart, if we can get a flip on that money, on that money flow, definitely looking bullish. That's the bullish side of Cardano, right? You love to see that. But the bearish side is this is potentially a head and shoulders pattern. Very weak left shoulder right here. I'll go ahead and draw it for you guys. Very weak left shoulder. But that's a clean looking Batman type of a head right there. And then a nice right shoulder here. If this turns out to go into play, and again, we're talking about if Bitcoin crashes down to 48K, if Solana maybe makes a move back down towards 130, if Chainlink makes a move maybe back down towards $11 to $9 area, well, now we're starting to talk about could Cardano play out this head and shoulders pattern and make a move all the way down to levels we have not seen in months, but potentially down here to 40 cents. Could we see a 40-cent Cardano once again? That's the bad side of what Cardano's chart is showing. But we do need to wait the rest of this week to see. All right, we've hit a lot of support on Bitcoin, a lot of support on Cardano, a lot of support on Solana. There's a lot of reasons people should have been bullish this week. Was this a little bit of an April Fool's fake out to start the week off, and now the rest of the week's bullish? Where only time will tell, but I want to make sure you guys are ready for those levels. If 56 is lost, technically there's going to be some support around here around 45, which to me more than likely would be the better buy spot anyway. But keep an eye on the former resistance level back here in November around that 39, 40 cent range. That's where that head and shoulders pattern is saying it should play out if Cardano keeps going that direction. That is the TA planned for today. We're going to make sure, though, to come back around, do some Q&A, because today's news is on the lighter side. Not really a lot of hard-hitting information, but there is some, and we got some great conversation to have. T-Shroom, what do you have on the docket for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some stuff we want to dive into here, but I think a good summation of everything you just said, Tim, is from DPG 604. She said, I was going to wait for AVAX to hit 45 to buy some, but I figured 46. What's the difference? LOL. What is the takeaway here? This is buy season. This is a buying season. Could it go lower? Could prices go lower of AVAX or Bitcoin or your favorite altcoin? Absolutely they could. But that's always the case, right? They could always go lower. Generally, in the bull market, which we're at the beginning of, it seems like we're maybe in the second or third inning. If you maybe you might say we're in the first inning. Maybe you might say we're in the seventh inning. It seems to me like we're probably in around the end of the first inning, or maybe the second or third. Anyway, it's buy season, right? When there are dips are gifts. There doesn't really seem to be a high correlation of news to this dip. So it's probably, more than likely it's just a technical dip. It's just on the market cooling off as liquidity conditions change at a macro level, right? We have been seeing the Dixie move higher. We've been seeing the bond markets moving unfavorably for risk markets. So there's some overall macro things that are happening here that kind of makes sense for crypto to have a pullback. Is there anything that has changed in the underlying value of Bitcoin? No. Not in my eyes. Nothing has changed. For Ethereum, the value of the blockchain has not changed. The situation with the spot Ethereum ETF has changed, right? That has been a change that the market was not pricing in and now is beginning to. We could potentially see a slower catch up for Ethereum on the way back up from this pullback. Let's get into some of the news though, Tim. Really quickly, the first one here, U.S. government transfers over $2 billion in Bitcoin. Okay, so this was spotted by this X account here, Zach XBT, which I think we've heard of before. I think he's like a renowned Chainalysis.
Oh, he is top notch. And I said some of you guys definitely have known him, but if anyone is new to crypto, welcome. You found the right channel. We're going to help you guys through this. But Zach XBT, an absolute must have a follow on Twitter if you want to look to avoid scams. Like that's pretty much what he does. He's pointing out to the community when big scamming type of things can happen, or in this case, potential disaster scenario. I want you to finish this. I do have a thought on this story, T-Shroom. I'm curious what your thought is as well, but go ahead and finish this and we'll get into it.
Do you? An interesting insight from Tim. We'll have to stick around to hear what that is. 30,000 Bitcoin to the tune of 2.1 billion of Silk Road hacked funds controlled by the U.S. government is on the move right now. Because you might be wondering, well, did the government go out and buy Bitcoin? No, it confiscated it from this illicit trade, from this illicit market of Silk Road. If you don't know about that, that's okay. Google it. Learn the history of the Silk Road. It's an important part of Bitcoin's history. Well, anyway, the government was able to custody that Bitcoin. And every once in a while, maybe at highs, maybe at lows, the government will make transfers to try to spook the market. But one of these days, they're going to actually sell it, probably, or maybe not. But you can go and you can check out the transaction hash, and you can see the Coinbase deposit address. But they're moving the U.S. One thing to note, I saw in the comments, I believe, is that they're moving funds to Coinbase at the same time that they're suing Coinbase. Now, it's not original thought. I think I saw it in the comments. I can't remember who said it. But man, that is such an interesting juxtaposition, right?
Yeah, it is weird. That was one of my thoughts at first too. Is like, oh, the government uses Coinbase, and then of course they fund the SEC who's suing Coinbase. I want to start off by saying this is not the first time, and I doubt it will be the last time, that the U.S. government Silk Road holdings will be used as FUD for Bitcoin. I also want to make sure people understand, is $2 billion a lot of money? Yes, it is. But it's not necessarily a whole lot of money compared to Bitcoin. And there are people like Michael Saylor and BlackRock who are just waiting for that kind of liquidity to come back for them to buy it up here very quickly. So I want to make sure, even though we're in the conversation today of talking about a potential crash in Bitcoin, that I want to make sure you guys also understand where Tishu and I are both coming from. We are not out here predicting crashes to 48K. If you're going to tell me, Tim, bet on what the lowest price action for Bitcoin is going to be, I don't know if I'm even sitting. I'm probably sitting 50-50 we stay above 60K, right? So 50% chance we lose 60K, 50% chance we stay above it, right? There's still a lot of levels below us, 64, 62.5. Even a lot of support has shown up at around 61 and 60 itself. If we lose 60K, then you have a lot of people wanting to buy around 57, 54, and 50. So there's a lot of buy-in places between us and 48K. That being said, if we hit 48K, I don't want you guys to be like, why did we drop this low? Is Bitcoin bull market over? No. It is a level of former untapped resistance that could explain why we dropped that far. A drop any further than that doesn't really make sense from a lot of different areas. That, to me, is the lowest we could drop, and we're still extremely bullish, and no one should freak out. Dropping below 48K, I'm not saying the bull market's over. I'm just saying, all right, that's surprising and interesting. This could get to be a very, very fun 2024. But I want to make sure you guys understand that 50-50 is my opinion. We stay above $60,000 total.
Absolutely.
The 2 billion mark, not a big deal here, not whatsoever. And also, if they want to make money, which is more than likely what the U.S. government wants to do, they don't want to sell this all at one time. I do think this is temporary FUD. I don't think this is a reason for people to sell their bags and fear a massive crash coming.
Yeah. I like that, Tim. But there was a comment about when and how they would sell it. Emperor, I'm not familiar with this X account, but Emperor said they will probably sell it in the most stupid way possible, making the market mispriced. A good time to buy the dump if it happens. Yeah. So somebody kind of taking the other side of that is like, no, the government may actually, those who are controlling the Bitcoin right now, right, probably in the Treasury, I would imagine, or maybe the corrections system or something like this. Whoever confiscates the money, they may be in the Gary Gensler camp. They may not be in the Hester Pierce camp, right? And they may be sitting there like, how can we dump Bitcoin as much as possible so that A, my boys, my broskies can get in while it's low, and B, we can get some of these good U.S. citizens out of this corrupt cryptocurrency that we just cannot tolerate. It's so bad. So there's some other people who disagree with you, Tim, but I think in general, yeah, they're probably not going to try to spook the market. We got another news story. Now, perhaps now I'm going to get a little tinfoil here, Tim. Get a little tinfoil.
I love it.
Perhaps the U.S. government is making this move today because of this headline, which I would say is far more important. This could just be a tit for tat of the United States having to kind of respond, having to say something, do something in response to this. Reported on it this week or this morning on 9 a.m. already. Let me hear my 9 a.m. bros in the chat. Throw a one up in the chat if you'd like to watch the 9 a.m. stream. China launches Belt and Road Initiative, blockchain platform led by Conflux Network. Now, this is Yahoo Finance, right? So normally if I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, this is fake. But I have reason to believe that this is true.
I much prefer Yahoo chocolate milk drinks to the finance.
Do you? You find that they're a little bit better for your bones?
Probably not, but they taste better.
You're going to get a lot more calcium, a lot more vitamin C,
Yeah.
which is essential for traders, I would say. But the Chinese government has introduced a new public blockchain infrastructure platform led by Conflux Network. This is the Chinese government. It would be nice to know what branch of the Chinese government, but they are calling this platform an ultra large scale blockchain infrastructure platform for the Belt and Road Initiative. Kind of the interpretation I had of it on the 9 a.m. stream, Tim, was that this isn't good, right? Because they've been far and away the world's leaders in CBDC development. They have an active CBDC, the EU1, and it is thriving as far as I know. They've used it. It's fully adopted for the demographic of the Chinese that they want to use it, and they're feeling confident that they're now going to take it on tour, baby. The CBDC has been rocking out the domestic stadiums there in China, and they want to take it on tour. London, Brazil, United, and maybe even the United States in their Belt and Road Initiative. So obviously this is not good, right, for freedom, and also it could be potentially taking market share from cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. What do you think the risk of that is, Tim? And keeping in mind, well, tell me, what do you think the risk of replacement here, of adoption of this coin?
I don't know. This is one I haven't thought a lot about, and I'm going to kind of defer to what you think here. I'd have to do a lot more research into the history of it, and I'd have to look a lot more into the actual article and what's actually happening. And
Gotcha.
I know this sounds crazy, T-Shroom, but I don't have an opinion on this right now.
Well, just in general. So you said that you would defer to my opinion, and my opinion is you have to sell all your Bitcoin right now to me for $0.
All right, look, let's go to Coinbase and
No, my opinion here on this story is that it's more of a big deal for probably for geopolitics, right? But I think that it could potentially be a big deal for adoption and market erosion for future crypto users, right? I think right now people who are in the know in the West, they're like, I would never buy a Chinese CBDC that is being rolled out with the Belt and Road Initiative internationally. That seems dumb. But that's the West, right? In the other hemisphere, right? In the Eastern Hemisphere, is that what it's called? The Eastern Hemisphere? I guess the Western and Eastern. I need to study up on my hemispheres. Outside of the U.S. hegemony, right? Under the Chinese hegemony, there are a lot of folks who would hear the concept of a Chinese currency, of a new digital Chinese currency, and they'd be like, heck yeah, let's do it. You know, we do a lot of trade with China. This sounds pretty sweet. This ultra large scale blockchain infrastructure would sound very appealing to some. Now, my guess is that the erosion of the crypto market would be minimal at first, right? But if it starts to work, right, and trade starts getting settled in the CBDC, then you could have a problem. But my guess is that, like many other CBDCs have been rolled out outside of China, outside of strict authoritarian regimes, they're going to get very little adoption because essentially Bitcoin exists, Ethereum exists, Solana, Cardano, Chainlink, on down the line. There's private alternatives that rock. But that's so easy to say for me from a Western standpoint. I've never lived in China. I've never done trade with China directly, right? Whereas a lot of the world has. And when they hear China, they think, ooh, I can make money, stable government, right? When Westerners think China, they think scary. You know, the U.S. has told me it's bad. And it is in a lot of ways. So anyway, that's the story there. This could potentially be a very big story. And we could be feeling the effects of this for a while, that this could be the big one, the big global CBDC that gets rolled out, gets adoption in the East, and tries to encroach on the Western crypto markets. Or, you know, we could never hear this story again until, you know, years from now when they try to develop it more. But my guess is that it might be a pretty significant headline going forward. In the short term, I don't think that this erodes folks rotating into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think in the mid to long term is when that threat starts to become a little bit more real. But let's learn a little about Conflux, right? Because the second part of this headline is interesting. The Conflux network. Now, Conflux is actually slightly up on the year. It's only up 1% basically on the year. If you zoom into the daily chart here, it's actually down 7%. So it's on a day where the CCP, presumably, I mean, they say Chinese government, has come out as a partner of Conflux, it's not even up. In fact, it's down 7%. It's going with the ebb and flow of the larger macro crypto markets. So to me, that is also further kind of cementing my opinion that this is not going to ultimately be that significant of a headline. But I'm definitely not ruling out that it could be. And as you guys can see, we've spent a decent amount of time on this story because it does bear weight. If it does end up being true and the Chinese government throw their weight behind this, there is no bigger partnership in crypto right now outside of Bitcoin. The Chinese government as a partner is the biggest organization that there is outside of the U.S. government, right? Or maybe the UN launching their own crypto project. So this is definitely has potential to be one of the biggest stories in crypto so far, full stop, or this could fizzle out, right? So we'll be monitoring that. But all indications are that in the short term, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But in the mid to long term, it could be a very big deal. Tim, we've got a tweet here. Did you have any closing thoughts on that story?
No, again, I think,
ready to move to
especially
China?
Listening to you talk more, I'm going to lean towards. I don't think this news comes to fruition to be anything of significance to the crypto market. That's just what I'm saying. It's definitely anytime the U.S. government makes a cryptocurrency move, it is good to be aware of it. But to me, I don't think this is the big shocker, the big ooh, like, oh, this is like a big problem for crypto. We can go ahead and move on. Is there another story here? Or do we going to go into the factoid of the day? What's next?
Well, that's going to be the end of the stories, Tim. But I've got a tweet here from Crypto Rover. We like Crypto Rover here, at least I do. He said, if meme coins can pump to billions of dollars in the market cap, and AI with good fundamentals can do the same. Position accordingly now. The big gains are still yet to come. So this is Crypto Rover, and I think he's saying it pretty well here. I would take out the AI coins part. I think in general, coins with good fundamentals are a buy right now, guys, because you have basically this big frothy market, this big huge cloud of liquidity hanging over the crypto markets that is the meme coin markets. My conviction is that meme coin liquidity is not going to last in meme coins for the entirety of the bull market. There will be definitely meme trends and things like this, but let's say if the meme coin market right now is $50 billion, I think that's going to dwindle to like $5 billion. And where's that money go? Well, some of it goes into USDC or US bonds or whatever, but I think most of that goes back into risk in higher cap cryptos, right? That's when you start to see this prophecy, right? This path to altcoin season coming true. So Tim, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that this huge frenzy of meme coins, do you think that that's kind of a big liquidity trap right now, that eventually all that liquidity will funnel into like Chainlink and Cardano and AVAX? Or do you think that we're going to see the biggest meme coin market that goes through the full entirety of the bull market?
Yeah, let me start off, and it's a possibility, T-shirt, you don't know this. So I want to make sure you understand, if you want to follow Crypto Rover, go for it. Remember that guy we talked about earlier, Zach XBT? He has exposed Rover on several occasions of lying about trades, also taking advantage of his community to, like, he gets access to like pre-orders and things, and then advertises his community and then liquidates his holdings on his community, right? So accusations, I will say, I'm not privy to the information. I haven't looked at the data and known that's happened, but Rover has caught some flack. And anytime you're catching flack from Zach XPT, that's not what you want to be, not where you want to be. That being said, what Rover's saying here is technically true and I agree with it, but I want to make sure people understand that's just not all the time. Like, there will be a time where valued and utility AI tokens stop gaining more momentum. Why? Well, a lot of the price action you've seen in AI tokens has not been based off of hype, or sorry, not been based off of utility, not been based off of technology. It has been based off of hype and VA funding. I think those prices can continue to go up, but it's going to be the ones that actually start delivering on this cycle of hype's promises, right? You guys need to remember, we are still, now we're close to it, but we are still pre-halving of the Bitcoin halving, which means all the explosive altcoin run-up is nothing compared to what will happen in the altcoin season. But that is where I do believe the true utility tokens will soar. The true AI utility tokens will soar, and the ones that were just flashes in the pans, they stay away. And when he talks about meme coins, again, I'm talking to especially newer investors, meaning you've only been in for best case scenario 6 months. I want you to understand the thing about meme coins. Memes are fun. They're funny. They're playing around. What do meme coin pumps suggest? They suggest that recently there's been massive gains in legitimate projects and people have been taking profit, and now they want something to do to play around with that money. You're going to see meme coins pumping right now. You know, they just pumped here, and there's a chance they pumped into what is a local top, not bull market top, but local top. Then Bitcoin will get the ball rolling again. Ethereum will follow suit. Altcoins with true utility that people really believe in will take off and soar. And then you will see a resurgence in meme coins. And if this tweet were to come out then, I would tell you, no, don't. Just because meme coins are soaring right now does not mean that the AI or the DeSci or the layer twos, like, those aren't going to soar, because that time is the last time that we're going to see the big pumps. Those meme coins are actually the ending fireworks of the crypto bull market that it's time to go ahead and sell off. In fact, I think it's Banter. Crypto Banter at one point had a chart historically showing the seasons of massive pumps in meme coins, and they're pretty on the dot with local and major bull market tops. That's just when they seem to go forward. So while I agree with Rover in this case that we still will see altcoins soar, I do want to let you guys know, don't think that you can just go to the list of AI tokens, choose any single one you want, and all of a sudden it's going to do another explosive 10x like it did earlier this bull market. Some will, the ones with utility, but we're going to be able to call bluffs on a lot of fake projects that made some big moves off of hype, made some big moves off of VC funding, made some big moves off of doping and just saying, hey, we're an AI token, put money in us. And it was so big that people went ahead and did it. Not every single AI token is going to make it. In fact, I think there will be something on the lines of 10. I think 10 could potentially just break away, and there's going to be 10 very, very big ones, and the rest are going to fall away because they can't compete. They really don't have the right development team. They don't actually have any plan in order. And again, I told you guys, we have sources that are owners of AI tokens saying there's a lot of projects out here that have no idea what they're doing. Like what they're doing with this recent run was to fund their ability to go hire developers to build their product. Like they didn't even have a product idea. They didn't have engineers. They didn't have a team. They raised money to do that. Those are the ones I'm very, very. He didn't tell me which coins those were, but he told us that there's plenty of them out there. I am still going to be hesitant. I probably have 3 or 4 tokens in the AI world I want to invest in. I believe in. But that was a long way of. I wanted to educate you guys on a couple different things here. I do think, though, that we are going to see another big altcoin season here in the next 6-7 months.
So the big takeaway, you love Crypto Rover. Everybody should run out and follow Crypto Rover right now.
I'll tell you this, though, and because I don't want to single out Crypto Rover. I've never met Rover. Again, I'm more talking to you guys about allegations from legitimate sources. I also want to make sure you guys understand T-Shroom and I are never going to purposely mislead you guys. We're going to make bad calls. We're going to say, oh, this coin's about to do something great, and then it doesn't do it. Or we're going to say, oh, this coin's about to crash, and then it ends up flying off the shelf. Right? We're going to make mistakes. But I'm not going to ever try to lie to you. But with that said, still continue to do your own research. I really, really hope that you guys never hear me or T-Shroom say something and then walk away and say, well, Tim and T-Shroom said that that's a fantastic coin, so I need to go buy it. Tim and T-Shroom liking something or disliking something should never be the end reason why you either buy or sell something. Now, if we make an argument that you're like, that was a really good point, I actually agree with that very heavily, boom. Now your reason to buy the coin isn't because Tim said so. It was because whatever reason Tim proposed is a very good reason why that coin should be going bullish. I like that reason. I believe in that reason. Therefore, I will buy it. That's how you should treat every single influencer out there. Rover, myself, T Shroom, pick them. Pick any person out there. We are all going to make mistakes. We're all going to make bad calls and good calls. It's up to you to take personal responsibility of your finances and learn along the process with us. And then guess what? T-Shirt and I, we're under no circumstances. Like I don't think that every coin I own is going to be a winner. But I'm thinking out of I think at this point, probably 40 tokens I have access to, the majority of them are going to be winners and they're going to outgain my losers. And that way I'm spreading it out. I'm having a good risk to reward ratio. I should make a killing in this bull market. But it's because I'm not just betting it all on one big thing, one big thought. I am spreading it out because I've done my research.
Love it. Diversification, name of the game. Guys, if you're looking for more honest content creators here in the crypto space, look no further than Crypto Billy. So this is Crypto Billy. Big fan of Crypto Billy. He's a friend of the channel. Also a friend of Sin City. Now, they're going to be going live today for Chapter 20, Meme Coin Business Plan, How to Guide. Right, so they're going to be going live and talking about that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's the Billy Goat Tales. You can find them over there on X, and their X spaces are usually must-listens. They're really, really great, and they're also a lot of fun, too. One more thing.
Wait, real quick. I know Crux, he might have had to go to Crux might be in chat still, or he might have had to go. I think he had the doctor's appointment or something. Is he co-hosting tonight, or is that next week he's co-hosting?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he's going to be doing. Yeah, he's a huge force over there at the Billy Goat Tales. But moving on, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. This is the stock to flow model with Plan B's parameters, which some of you may know what that is, some of you may not. But one thing that is being predicted here, Tim, is not only just the stock to flow, which by the way puts Bitcoin up here at 1,200,000 by the fall of 2025. But it also said that we should have been at 100,000 since 2021, right? So historically, it's been very accurate. Recently, as you can see, the Bitcoin price has had a sag relative to the stock to flow model. But in general, I do expect that there will be a return to this model. But that is my own personal opinion. Tim, I don't think you shared that opinion, right?
No, look at the model. I'm not a big fan of this model. The beginning we lived on top of this model, right? So it barely ever went below the expectation, and then you can see right there in 2019 we started to really lose control of it. We barely got it back above it during the bull market in 2021, and I'm not saying we can't touch it during this ascension, but to have the expectation that we're going to hit that $1 million mark by 2025. This cycle is always meant to be broken, by the way. The stock to flow was always meant to at some point derail. I think we've already hit that point. I'm not a big believer in this chart.
Yeah. Well, one thing that seems to be working out to be true is that the next halving estimate is on 420. And Tim, you're going to be embarrassed here, but we actually found the picture of last year's 420. This was Tim celebrating 420 here, and Bitcoin's halving is going to be. Oh wait. Yeah, Tim, you looked a little different back then.
I don't remember. I thought I hadn't shaved my beard in like almost 10 years, but I guess I misremembered. Yeah. For a night, I was clean shaven. That's why I keep my beard like this, because I don't want you guys thinking I'm an attractive person.
Right. Thank you, Tim. Now, that joke, that little bit of humor was brought to you by Decrypted.tax, which is also the fine tax pros who are bringing us the factoid today. Now, if you haven't gone ahead and started on your taxes and you have traded crypto or owned crypto in 2023, then you're going to have to go ahead and pay capital gains. And there's no better solution than Decrypted.tax when it comes to crypto taxes. Go ahead and head over there to Decrypted.tax to start solving your tax situation with crypto today. Tim and I both trust decrypted.tax. Tell Ernest that we sent you, and you'll be on the road to a stress-free tax season.
I also want to make sure you guys understand when it comes to your taxes, you do not have to wait for April. If you want to make sure you're on top of everything and not get hit with that one big bill. Guess what? By the way, guys, you'll make a lot of money this year in trading and investing, and you do need to report all this stuff. The IRS is going to want to know what's happening. Take advantage of the fact that you can use a CPA throughout the year and make sure you cover your taxes quarterly so you don't get hit in February or March or April of next year with a massive bill in your taxes. You've been taking care of it all along the way, and you're on top of it. Give them a 20-minute call, 30-minute call, all the way up to 60 minutes, free consultation. I guarantee you, though, you're going to love them. You're going to feel supported and safe with them in your corner. Check them out, decrypted.tax, down below. All right, what's the question of the day today here, T-Shroom? Factoid. Fun. Before you give your factoid, did you know that of 148 people watching right now, 14%, well, I guess I put quote today, not factoid today, but we're giving 13%. They want to learn how you pick your quotes and factoids of the day. And I know you don't pick the factoid, the elf does, but how did you pick the quotes and how do you pick the elf that chooses the factoid of the day? People want to know. So we're going to need some deeper education on that.
How does the elf pick the factoids of the day?
The people want to learn. People want to learn. 13% at least.
Have you ever heard of like necromancers or alchemy or anything like that?
We're not devil worshippers on this show. We don't practice.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with devil worship, but there's a lot of deep magic and alchemy that goes into these factoids. It takes a lot of spiritual energy to originate these factoids.
Not liking this answer.
And that's why it has to be an elf. You know, I wouldn't delve into those realms, but you can hire an elf on Fiverr now, so it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and jump on. Tim, you're disappointed. You look like Taylor Swift.
I didn't know that we hired a black magic elf. I think it might be time to
you might have to find a new elf.
Job out there. Anyone want to apply to be a factoid elf? Because apparently we hired a demonic elf to come up with these questions. I hope I get it wrong at this point.
Okay. Well, yeah. Tim, you're going to really like this factoid brought to you by decrypted.tax. What is the name of the current Taylor Swift tour? Is it the Eras Tour, the Red Tour, the 1989 World Tour, or is it D, Tim, the Speak Now World Tour? Take your pick.
I think it's the Eras Tour because it's posted everywhere, but let's go A. A is my final answer. Eras Tour. What does Eras mean? Is that what's that word Eras mean?
So you really don't know much about necromancy at all, do you? Just kidding.
I know more about Jesus than necromancy. Yes.
I love it. I love it, Tim. Yeah. So let's go ahead. The answer is the Eras Tour. No drum roll for that one.
No.
But it is correct. You got it right. This is the tours, and the Eras Tour is the present tour that we are in here. I've stopped even thinking about time in 2019, 2020, 2023. It's just so much easier to think of what tour is Taylor Swift in, and she's in her Eras Tour. So that's really, really good. Tim, you look a little bit disappointed about this
I told you I was. I did. Again, I am just now coming to the realization that we have a demonic elf working for us. It's troubling. It's troubling to say the least,
Yeah.
Smash the like anyway. We're gonna get a new elf. We're gonna have to take applications.
Well, what do you think about this comment from George Martinez? He said, "Amen, brother. All you need is Jesus." Do you agree with that?
I agree with George 100%.
Praise Jesus. Amen. Absolutely. Amen. We like to joke here. If you are put off by the terms here from alchemy, that's okay. You have every right to.
C90 says his internet cut out. The elf is out here going. Yeah, all right. Tomorrow we will have a brand new elf working on these factoids. Sorry. Looks like unemployment just rose by 1.
One elf.
So that's another good. Listen, if you think about it, unemployment just rose a little bit because that elf. Maybe another reason why we get rate cuts sooner. We'll talk more about that tomorrow with Caleb Franzen on the show, right. Of course. Caleb Franzen Wednesdays. Yeah, let's get into T-shirt. Oh, good stuff. Let's get into some Q&A. We did not get to do pretty much any yesterday with TA. Go ahead and start dropping some coins you guys want to see. Also, after this is over, check out my video today. Cardano short squeeze coming potentially. I do give both a bullish and bearish scenario in the video. I always like to give both sides of the coin, but I present some arguments in that video potentially on why Cardano could have a big move coming its way. Bedridden says hire Eric then. Oh, goodness. A mellow fellow. Demonic elf demons need love too, Tim. They do. They just need more of Jesus's love. And so, if the elf is open to a conversation, then I'm willing to have it with him. Maybe he can keep his job.
That's good.
All
right. There was a
What
question about Chainlink earlier.
Yes.
So Chainlink TA would be in order. Also AVAX.
An AVAX. Yeah, let's do it. Let's check out Chainlink here. Foist. Go ahead and go to my chart. Now we're coming back down here, guys. Back down to a zone of support that has been holding up since back here in February, back on the 2nd. We really stretched it, tested it pretty heavily back here on the 19th of March. But we're back down towards those levels. Again, we're talking about between 17. Worst case scenario, we're talking about down here towards 1670, give or take. If this level's lost, we're talking about potentially a move back down towards 13. I think I said between 13 and 9. Maybe I said 11 and 9. I think if we see Bitcoin drop to 48, what would we say? Solana like 130-ish, 140-ish, maybe Cardano 40-ish. I think Chainlink just pulls back down here towards 1350. Back down to its support band that it had back here in January of 2024. So as a whole, Chainlink, I've told you guys before, is it boring right now? Yes, it is. However, let me tell you this. There is some stuff coming to Chainlink that's going to get very, very exciting, very, very quick. I want to shout out, I don't see him in chat here today, and I can't remember his name, but we had a community member kind of shouting out ChainSwap. We're going to do a lot more deep dives on ChainSwap soon. I want to continue to understand it, but ChainSwap is coming, has the potential, T-Shroom, to be the biggest swap out there, right? Like we're talking about getting rid of Uniswap, getting rid of SushiSwap, getting rid of all the swaps that have foods in them.
Pancake swap,
pancakes, steak swap, chimichanga swap.
Are you saying the unicorn is a food? Uniswap?
It's definitely edible, isn't it? Horse swap. I mean, like horse meat is pretty much.
And the elf is demonic.
To be fair, the ritual, the beginnings of
here we go.
Unicorns, that's pretty demonic animal as well. So, we're not here to go that far. My point here, I'm talking about ChainSwap, gonna be attached to Chainlink, gonna be potentially the largest swap out there. Very, very big on it. And because of that, also very big on Chainlink. Of course, I was already big on Chainlink. But I think if we see some disaster, I'm going to use the quotation marks here, or the bunny ears. I don't know, whichever you want to say. Disaster scenario for Chainlink, we're talking about somewhere back down to like 13. 1330 to me is about as far as it goes. Let's see what Lux is saying about it, though, before we call it a day. 4-hour chart, definitely sitting on some support, just like we talked about with Solana and Cardano. We hit our take profit on the short entry that Chainlink entered back on March 27th. We hit and touched this sideways ranging green support band. And here's, I also want to make sure you guys understand. Let's talk the oscillators here, because I noticed this on the others, but I didn't get to point it out here. We also have lower oscillators coming in during this touch. We're back down to these lower levels. You guys can see back here when we were lower levels, that was the touch that kind of did it, and we were able to go back up. We had bullish divergence come in here as well. So maybe that would be the other great sign that the bottom really is in here on the 4-hour chart, is not only we're touching these green support bands, but we also get some good bullish divergence playing as well. But in this case, on this one, we have been flashing oversold. We have seen the oscillators be extremely, extremely low here once again. MACD does look like it's curving here as well. Check out there. We're not quite ready for the buy, right? That money flow is still sideways, but I would say if we see that money flow get up above this dip right here, we have the bullish momentum, we have the green reversal dot, bullish money flow, and we are off to the races for a good looking long order here on Chainlink. On the 4-hour chart. Let's see daily real quick. Let's see what it's doing expectation-wise. Yeah, close to support right there. It's looking like the daily chart might be kind of flirting with that concept of a potential move back down to the order blocks down there towards that $13 mark. Let's see how that plays. Let's watch and see what the 4-hour does. Daily chart's not looking good. Look at how negative these oscillators are, especially over the last 2 days. And the fact that we kind of bounced back up. Ooh, as we're looking at these charts, ALGO not painting a pretty picture on the daily chart for Chainlink at the moment. And of course, again, we're also talking about the Bitcoin daily chart not looking great, the Solana daily chart not looking great. I don't know. Again, I'm telling you right now, T-Shirt, I don't like the way that chart looks on the daily chart whatsoever. Yeah. Sorry about it. Let's talk about, what was the other one we said? ETH and AVAX?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's start with something positive because we'll talk about negativity later. Again, same thing with ETH. We're seeing kind of come in here. Let's turn off Lux for just a second. Look out here. We could not break the bullish part of this ascending triangle. We were in an ascending triangle here on Ethereum. It was primed for a breakout more to the upside. Did not happen. Instead, we're going to the downside. I told you guys, if that happens, a price target for Ethereum could be, let's be conservative here. Let's not get negative. Price target could be back down to the same levels as WIC, back down to $3,000. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that first. With this breakout coming to the downside, that is where that could go. Here on the 4-hour chart, guess what? We are hitting the beginning levels of the take profit, of the smart shell concept, of that green support band. But you take a look at where that price says we could go, we absolutely could still make it down here easily and hit that take profit level. Let's do the bearish stuff here now. Daily chart, ugly. Take profit all the way down here, 29, 26. We're back. We're in a bearish trend here. I mean, there's not an, look at that level like down here, green support band coming in here as well. I think that's something definitely keep an eye on right there. Oscillators on the daily chart, not pretty. Same as what we just looked at over there. I would almost say, based on what we're seeing, guys, not going to be surprised if we're seeing the 4 hours be slightly bearish, but showing potential support coming in. Not going to be surprised to see some boring sideways action, potentially even the rest of this week. But after small recoveries and potential bounce backs ups to previous support levels, we could see another big move coming if the daily chart continues on these charts like Ethereum. On that, let's look at AVAX. I mean, it looks like overwhelmingly daily charts are not the prettiest looking. Now, AVAX daily chart, it had a take profit above us that we actually had already hit. So, yeah, we just haven't registered what the new take profit is here for the sell order. So, just today, we have flashed a strong 2 on the sell for AVAX here on the daily chart. We are testing this smart trail concept, but with that strong move and the fact that we hit a take profit, we've rejected off the red reversal bands. Our oscillators looking like they're speeding up, moving the downside after being massively overbought here. I think we break through that one pretty easily and start heading to the downside. Take a look where the green band is coming in. North side of it, $34. Let's turn some stuff off here and let's just talk about how big of a move down AVAX could look like and still be healthy. All right, got a lot going on in this chart. Let me get rid of my Fibonacci. Let me get rid of my... All right, come on now, chart. Work with me here. I need some of you guys to go away. There we go. It didn't get a very explosive second move here. However, again, still going to see some things coming down here. What did I say? 34 was a level to be watching potentially. That's back down. Definitely on the bottom side of this zone. That would be a potential pullback on AVAX of... Yeah. That checks out 44, 45%. How big was this pullback right here? Again, I like to see what it's done previously because it's always very possible. Look at that, 44, 45%. Could we see AVAX back down to $34? We could. After being up here at 65, we could. Still big fan of AVAX. Again, we're talking about a real-world assets token, same as Chainlink. Both of these going to be big players in the real-world asset world. But for now, when you have big pumps, sometimes you got to take a big dump as well. That's just how the markets move. AVAX, I didn't even look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Let's just see if we're seeing support. See, the 4 hour, it's weird. The daily chart's bearish as well, but 4 hour potentially saying we're not necessarily even at the bullish spot here with the 4 hour. 1 hour, let's see if the 1 hour is bullish. Not even the 1 hour. AVAX looks like it's bleeding right now. I'm not selling it. I have a big AVAX bag. I think I'm going to make a lot of money here. It's possibly one I want to add a little more to because I think it's one of my lighter holds I think I have a little more room in my portfolio for it, but I'm seeing some bearishness coming here. We got some reversals. We got the bullish momentum here on the 4-hour chart, but that money flow is still red and it's below that bearish threshold. So even if we get a small bounce back up, it's not going to be a significant one, at least right now. So let's keep an eye on what's happening there. I will say that's a big green dot right there, and those are more significant. When I see those bigger dots, they're stronger. But here, here on the AVAX chart, I just like to backtest each one. It's not necessarily overwhelmingly. That's not a very good bearish call right there with a big bearish dot. So I'm not feeling overwhelmingly confident on AVAX. I think it might have a little more bleeding to do before it gets its little short-term support right now. Drew P said TIA. Now, I did do TIA. Who asked me? I did some TIA TA this morning for a member. Was it you, Drew P? I can't remember. I can't remember who asked for it. Yeah, it was Drew P. I'll do some again. We'll do some TA again for you. This will be the last one, and then we will kind of get out of here. I'm a fan of TIA. I want to start off by saying, before I get into this and tell you guys that this coin's about to crash and burn and die, which I don't know, I'm just going to assume. I think it's going to make it long term. I like TIA long term. 4-hour chart hitting a lot of support bands here, just like we saw with Cardano and Bitcoin and Solana. Again, we have a big order block coming in here, a take profit, the green support band, the oscillators. I'm going to just go ahead and assume super low. We haven't been this low on the oscillators in quite a while. Massively oversold right now. Is the money flow still negative? Yes, it is, but everything else saying bullish right now with that green reversal, green momentum dot, and sitting on some strong support right there. Not going to be surprised to see a small bounce in TIA here on the 4-hour chart. But again, I'm just going to go ahead and assume the daily chart's going to get ugly. And there we go. MACD taking a turn. Bounced off the 50 line on the RSI. We're back under bearish momentum and bearish money flow here on the daily chart. And we have, now this project's only so old, so you're not seeing a large history of support. But check it out. Got a big order block and our support band coming in down here, back down towards $9. That's not a huge break from where we currently are at 12. That's kind of actually it's 27 something percent. Okay, that's decent. From all-time high, that would be a 57, almost 60% pullback. That's healthy. That's a healthy pullback for TIA. I would definitely scoop up some more TIA here around $9.30, give or take. That's what we're seeing right there, Drew. Maybe a small bounce right now, but let's continue to monitor this guy, because there still is a lot of if-then statements about these bigger dips and bigger crashes. But you do want to call a spade, and these longer time frames are not in spots that bring you a lot of joy if you're very bullish right now. There's still hope. There's still that. Let's watch what the Bitcoin ETFs do. Let's watch what happens as we get closer to halving. A cool off into the halving could spark a big move here in about 18 days if it does happen on 420. So we'll have to continue to wait and see. Guys, that's all we have for you in today's episode. If you did enjoy it, though, and it seems like you guys did, we kept a lot of you around for a long time. You know what you guys can do to reward us for putting on a show that you guys enjoyed? You can smash the like button and you can hit the subscribe button. I actually don't even know. We're literally within, I think, 30 subscribers of hitting 11,000, and we'll do another $100 giveaway. Yeah, we need about 26 more subscribers, and we will hit 11,000. We have been tearing it up recently, and we're just going to keep on going. Also, special announcement, and we'll do something with this tomorrow because we ran out of time today. But you guys can thank Blackie Chan. Blackie Chan, if you're still in chat right now, I want everyone to give you a big hug virtually, because he won $100 yesterday for actually the second time. That's the second time he's won $100. And he messaged us back and he said, you know what? I've already won some. Take this money and use it for like a community trade to give away more money. So we're going to do something with that tomorrow in honor of Blackie Chan. He is today's bro of the month. He already won it. It's only day 2 into the month, and Blackie Chan's already the bro of April. Maybe that's a new award we should start giving out on a regular basis, bro of the month. But to get that honor, you do have to like the videos, hit subscribe. With that said, we love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA, shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word, doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better than cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.